Skillbyte here. This video is going to be part 2 of repairing the fender, the one that is the keeper, maybe. And in part 1 we examined it, we found some Bondo that I didn't expect to see. We've tried to see how much rust there was, removed some spot welds, cut the piece out of the fender that we're going to replace. That's in part 1. And in part 2 here, we're going to continue where we left off, and we're going to size the patch panel, get it welded in. We're going to find unexpected little problem that we got to deal with and go from there. Might even weld some holes if we have time. All right, so here's the video. And what makes it hard doing this, I can put this right here. I can line this corner up, line the side up, but it won't go down here. And it's not a straight shot. So I can find here whereabouts it is, but it's a bit of a guess here. I'm going to try to cut it long, get a little closer, and just sneak up on it. If I had cut like so, or even just so, it'd be a lot easier to line it up. There isn't like there's nothing to measure here to where. I guess you could measure from here all the way up to here, and then subtract this. It's just a process, just don't cut it short. Well, it's just sitting there again. So, a couple things. This edge, that's what you need to have tight. Okay? And be aware that the skin may hang down farther than the brace. So if you got it sitting on something, be aware of that. This needs to line up. When this lines up, this side also. So we're getting close, because these are really close. But if I look down here, I can see still got a good bit to cut off, but this will come up. So we're really close. Just sneak up on it. It's better to take your time, get it right, don't cut too short. Yeah, it's super disappointing, and a $340 plus shipping. Oops. The problem is, like I said, if I cut any more, get it all in the frame. If I cut any more, well, it's gonna be the fender. It's not gonna be wide enough. And so you can see we've still got a lot of space there that I have to move it up. Oh. Well. Yeah, not good. Not good. It's so funny because I measured the bottom here. I measured from here to here, compared that to the, the two panels. They were identical, but obviously it's thinner from here to here. It's where it should be. All right, so we got, it's in a little bit here. I mean, honestly, that's easy to fix. and it's in here. Now I could move it a little either direction. I am thinking, what if I cut it here? I could pull that out and then fill there. That's what I'm thinking is the way to do it. So line this up on this side, cut it probably to about here, bend that out. So with the panel ready to go on, you got to do something to protect this. First thing you got to do is clean the surface off. You got to get all of this loose rust off using wire wheels. Got some nylon as well for some of the tight places, and I'm gonna get this all the rust off that I can get off. Then I'm gonna put some rust encapsulator. It's actually a I forget what it's called, a rust primer, and what that'll do is it's going to convert the rust to the other chemical, I forget what it's called, and that will neutralize the rust. And it's a primer coating that you can paint over if you wish, or you can leave it as is. There's a bunch of the products on the market, and I'm going to go ahead and get, while I got this piece off, I'm going to try to get all in here, back in there, try to get everything covered. But first, got to wire brush it all. Hey! All right. So I'm not going to bore you with me doing this whole thing. You got to get it all. Anything that's loose, you got to get it. And I'll show you. This is the before. I've already done a good bit of it, but you got to get into all those little nooks and crannies. Well, if it's in the frame, all those little nooks and crannies. And a lot of this is just dirt. Oh, so let me show you the nylon. You got the wire brush. Well, there's also nylon ones, and the nylon ones don't take the paint off. Okay, the black is like an 80 grit, allegedly. And it's not as aggressive as the steel actual wire wheel, but it will take anything that's loose off. So it's not a bad option. And this is what I'll be using for getting in here. And yes, it takes a lot of time. If you want to do it right, a little better. I mean, there's still some of this is dust, other is just rust that is on it. And I'm using a scuff pad, a red scuff pad, to try to get in all of the rest of the crevices. So I've got just about everything. Get in there, get underneath there, all back in there. Forgot to get there. Probably underneath there still, actually. Oh well. I have about decided a new Fender is $300 plus truck freight. With the amount of time it takes to properly get this back rust-free and patched up, I tell you what, I think it might be cheaper just to buy a new Fender. Wow. Probably can't see anything. Got to degrease it, wax and grease off of it. Just using some super clean. Now I'm just doing the brace. I may or may not even do the rough stuff on the inside here. But I do want to get it back in there as much as I can while I have access. While I have access. Try not to get it on my camera lens. Now we'll spray it off. Don't let it dry on it. Now, obviously, can't get all the way back underneath there. And of course, you also got the expense of whatever treatment you're using on here. The rust converter encapsulation stuff. Now that one piece won't take that much, which is the good thing, but it all adds up. All right, I think it's rinsed enough. Now you gotta dry it. All right, don't get your dirty hands on it either. You'd be surprised at what can be revealed. But just by using the degreaser. Oh man. Do you see what I see? There's some pinholes in there. They are just, well, and there's one. So they are very limited on where they are, and I think I can weld those up. Yeah, at least we're gonna give it a shot. But it is really nasty, and that is after the wire brushing, the degreasing, the whole works. A couple tips on this. This is 16 gauge, but where the holes are, it's been thinned. So don't think you're gonna get 16 gauge settings on your welder and make it work on that thin metal. Secondly, you got to have it grounded. So I have it grounded here, but the gun has to ground. So you got to use, I used the little belt sander and got enough where I could get ground to start the weld. Secondly, I highly recommend, because this is pretty thin, I backed it with the copper. I ain't touching it, it's hot. Don't laugh at my welds. Now I'm going to check it more, and I'm also going to be poking this with the screwdriver and pick and stuff, make sure there's nothing else in there that needs to be welded up. It probably wasn't necessary, but I did hit him from the back as well. Just make sure there was enough substance. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and weld up some of these little holes from the emblems, as well as the trim. Now the key here, I got that copper plate in the back, and I just got a magnet holding it against the fender. And I changed the settings to 18 gauge. Don't forget, when you're changing metal thickness, make sure you check your welder settings before you actually weld. Even though I did have it turned down for that already, even though that's 16, it was thinner. So I'm just going to attempt see if I can hold that. That didn't work. Try that again. I don't think it really arced properly. Move the ground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just stitch across. Stitch across. Now I'm gonna let it cool just a second. That copper heat sink underneath is gonna help a lot. And I'll fill in that hole. Don't rush it. And don't move the wand, the gun, too fast. There's one. Bunch more left to go. Okay, those 3 are done. Found I had to do 3 passes even on those tiny little holes. One on each side and one in the middle. So here I was able to get that copper piece behind all 3. If I can do this right here. No slag ball on it. That was horrible with one hand. I had a slag ball on that one, but it did cover a lot of the hole. Next I'll do opposite side and then fill in the middle if needed. I'm going to leave the slag ball on this one. You don't have to go too fast. I messed that one up a little bit. Not the greatest. Alright, here we are, done. What did we learn from that? I can't hold the camera with my left hand and weld with just the right. It completely throws me off. I gotta go slow across there. Let the puddle form. Yeah. Bear in mind when you're welding these, if you try to go across where there isn't a ground, where there's no metal, it's going to stop. It has to stay in touch with the puddle or the edge of the steel here. So don't go too fast and don't try to cover too big of a gap. You're better off following the edge a little bit, make a little crescent, let it cool a second or two with that copper behind. Then you can go the other side perhaps, but don't rush it. Don't let it get too hot. It'll warp. Alright, I absolutely suck at welding on camera. Crescent, I let off. I went just enough down where it lost the contact and it stopped. Wasn't the best. Apparently I'm really bad at welding. Doesn't hurt to wire brush it. Okay, I'm gonna follow with my glasses on. Helps if you can actually see it clear. If you can't see it clear, well, you really aren't seeing it. Didn't want to arc that start, but then it almost filled it. So these little holes should be like a spot weld. Should be the same process with the backing. Copper pieces underneath it held in with magnets. And I should just be able to go... I haven't been able to do it right yet with the camera going. Let's see if I can on this one. There it is. Finally! There it is. That copper backing makes all the difference. Have that there. It has to be touching. Then when you have your welder set at the correct settings, in this case 18 gauge settings, come around and into the circle in the middle. So this one here, I bent the piece of copper and I have it wedged in the hole, pressed up against the top here to be the backing. Alright, that one wasn't the cleanest either. But now I use the mini belt sander. Get that down where it needs to be, and don't get it too hot. You can actually overheat it while you're sanding it or grinding it as well. So, oh, and I gotta pull the back. I gotta pull my steel warm copper piece out, and I'll just hammer that flat again to use it on the next piece if needed. Alright, just to show you, even with this pretty nasty belt, I got it at like 4.5 speed. Get it too hot. I'm staying right on the weld as much as I can. I don't want to grind down all the sheet metal around it. That's why I'm not using a grinder. I don't want to get the sheet metal around it any thinner than it is. If I can help it. Those are nice. Got a little hole in that one. A little hole in that one. A little hole in that one. I had really bad luck on those three. That one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. All right. All those others are good. Just those three. And also take a flat edge. Make sure it's not high. Try not to have it low either. But you don't want it high for sure. So those holes were so small I did not use the backing plate. Using the same settings, I just real quick circle. And that one doesn't really look like a circle. That was my intent. Anyway, gotta grind them down and the holes will be filled. Just finished putting the second coat of the rust converter primer on. Yeah, only on the part in which I'll be welding. Can't see my hand over here because I won't be able to get to this as easy. Well, so this is the key part because obviously the metal will be over it, and this is where all the water collects, all the dirt and water, and it's this side that always rusts. So this should definitely help with that. And there was no rust or anything on this side, just that side. Yeah, there were some weld throughs there on the other side, but so now the one I'm using, I gotta let it cure for 24 hours before I touch it, which the next step will be to put the actual patch pedal on, and I'll be grinding this off. Well, we'll talk about it when I get there. Using the strip disc, clear coatings and paint, whatever, get it down to bare metal for where you're going to be welding. I've marked where the spot weld should go. Let's see if I can get them in the right spots where I marked. They don't have to be exact, but you do want them pretty close. And see how easy that was. And it goes real deep, so I just want it out of the way. Didn't say it wasn't awkward. This is definitely awkward. Screw that in a little bit more. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to clean up around all of the spot welds holes that I've made. Alright, I used the mini belt sander to get the rest. Now I'm going to hit it everywhere there's metal. It's going to get weld through primer. Oh, I also got to clear this off. I haven't shown it yet. I don't think I have actually. So the rust converter primer is done. I think it turned out pretty well. But everywhere that I'm going to weld, I still got to do the same thing. I got to grind it off. I have now documented that it's there, so it shouldn't rust in the future, at least not for a long time. All right, holding this where it goes, using a Sharpie, mark where the holes will be. Now get rid of the coating on that. Read the instructions for your product. This stuff goes on thick. So anything that's backing where I'll be welding, that's what gets it. So like this doesn't need it because I'll be welding it and I'll have access to the back. Patch panel will need some as well. All right, well, it's a little cool in here, so it didn't lay down the best. But anywhere where there was a scratch or something that was behind the brace, I also covered with the primer. Keep it from rusting. This side, I've got access to it. I don't need to hit that yet. So we're going to end this one right here since it's getting a little long, which means we will have a part 3 on the Fender repair. It'll consist of a lot of welding, and I'll have to do few cuts to get the patch panel to actually fit, and you'll see, well, next week. And I hope this was helpful. If so, please like, subscribe, comment, leave a tip on my Ko-fi page, and good luck with your project.